Am I the a-hole for not contributing anymore to my daughter's college costs after years of child support that had a provision for a college fund? For almost 13 years, I was paying nearly 38% of my pre-tax income as child support for my daughter. My ex-wife was always assigned minimum wage despite her choice to stay at home while her husband worked. She has a higher earning potential than I do. Part of this child support was earmarked for a college fund, but it was up to my ex's discretion on how it gets invested. I had no say despite fighting for that right. This support order has really made me suffer for years financially, but I never once missed a payment. My wife and I even delayed having kids just so I could afford paying the support. My daughter turned 18 2 months ago, and I finally have the money to start saving up a college fund for my 2 younger children, who are 8-month-old twins, as well get my retirement back on track. My daughter reached out to me last week asking for a third of her college costs. I told her that it needs to come from the college fund her mother was saving. I then found out that due to some stupid decisions on my ex's part, there's only $13,000 in the fund instead of what should have been nearly $95,000. My daughter is innocent in this, but I can't keep draining my finances because of my ex's selfishness and bad decisions. This created a huge fight between me and my daughter. She then proceeded to go to my parents, who are now planning on selling some assets to pay for her education. And now, my brother and sister have turned against me and are saying that my daughter shouldn't be our parents' problem. But I'm refusing to sabotage my retirement and the younger kids' college. I'm so tired of all this. Everyone has turned against me, my wife and my 2 younger kids. I've been feeling so depressed. My daughter won't even talk to me anymore. Am I the a-hole? Now let's read the top comments. Not the a-hole. You already paid for her college via the investments. The fact that her mother lost it is not your fault. And I am so tired of kids thinking their parents must pay for their college. Newsflash, college is not a right, it is a choice. Higher education should be a right, and it is an absolute travesty that for so many, access to higher learning is restricted due to lack of income. No, it is not OP's fault that his ex wasted the money that he has already paid, but potentially denying his daughter access to education is not the answer. OP really needs to sit down with his daughter, have an honest discussion around what he has already set in place and why that didn't work, and look at what he can do to assist that isn't going to put him in financial stress. At the very least, this might help his daughter understand that she is putting blame on the wrong person. OP needs to be honest. Daughter, your mother squandered your money and I don't have any more. I gave to save up for retirement and for your siblings' education. I'm really sorry, but you're angry at the wrong person. And what about his other kids? They cannot be sacrificed because the oldest one has an irresponsible mother. Not to mention that his daughter has so little respect for her father outside of a piggy bank that she bypassed him altogether and seems perfectly fine with her grandparents selling their assets to pay for it. Where are the mother and new husband in all this exactly? Why are they getting a free pass here? Not the a-hole. You already paid into the college fund. Tell your parents not to help out since it was the ex-wife that gambled away all the money. It's their grandchild. I doubt they want her to lose out because of her mother's bad investments if they are in a position to help her. Based on what the OP has said about everyone hating him, his wife, and their children, it wouldn't surprise me to learn that his parents disagree with his decision not to help his daughter with college. Our next story is an updated post. Update. Am I the a-hole for telling my girlfriend that being depressed is not an excuse for being lazy? Original story. I, 29, have always supported my girlfriend, 23. We have been together for 4 years now and lived together for 1. She has always had anxiety as well as depression, where some months are worse than others. I have supported her through all of this and understand it is very hard for her. In January, she lost her job due to the current world circumstances. By March, she hit a low point with not eating as much, crying, irritability, typical traits of depression. I have comforted her as much as possible and taken care of everything. However, at the beginning of June, I was allowed back to work, and since the house has fallen to shambles, I am too tired by the time I come home to do anything, even cook. Most nights we order takeout, and on the rare occasion, she makes food. The floors aren't being washed, hovering isn't being done, laundry is a mountain, and dishes are everywhere. I try to keep on top of it, but with work, it is almost impossible. She is home all day. She lies in bed till late afternoon, watches Netflix, eats bowls of cereal, and naps. That's about it. I've tried to gently coax her to do more, and she says she will get to it but never does. I finally snapped, told her I was sick of her doing nothing all day and leaving the housework to me. That if she is here and I am working, she needs to be pulling her weight. She got upset and said that she wants to, but she can never find a motivation, that she is tired all the time. I said I understood she was depressed, but it isn't an excuse to do nothing and be lazy. No one likes housework, but I won't take any more excuses about it. She needs to start doing it or leave. Next day, I come home to a clean house and a note from her saying she was sorry and is going to stay with her mother. Her mom helped her clean before they left. I tried calling, but she wouldn't pick up. When I rang the house, her mother answered and had a lot to say. She is furious, telling me about how she is struggling and I am making her worse. That I should be supporting her, not ignoring that she is in a bad place, and so on. I was told my girlfriend had been crying all day in her bedroom, and I feel awful. I never wanted to hurt her. I just snapped. I tried to get her mother to give my girlfriend a phone, but she wouldn't speak to me. It feels like a lose-lose situation. On one hand, I know depression results in lack of motivation and cleanliness. And on the other, I can't stand to see our home in such chaos. I've never had depression, so I can't say for sure how bad it truly is. That's why I find it more difficult to 100% empathize. Am I the a-hole for telling her depression isn't an excuse? Extra info. She has a therapist and talks regularly with them. Her depression is worse since losing her job. Usually she is quite clean and tidy. We don't usually have this issue. She is looking for a job despite depression, etc. I have enough money to support us both in the meantime. And now for the update. Ultimately, I realized that the majority of the blame was mine. I never ever should have called her lazy because that isn't what she is. I lashed out and I shouldn't have. She stayed at her mother's for a few days and we eventually met up to talk. I told her how it just got too much for me, but it was no excuse for lashing out and I apologized. She apologized also, not that she needed to, and we talked for a long while about how we can make our relationship work. I expressed my concerns over her therapist, who is very against anything other than taking therapy. She agreed that he didn't seem to really have her best interests at heart, and she is currently looking for someone new. For now, I suggested she stops looking for work. She got a lot of rejections and I could see it was upsetting her more. I just felt we should take a step back from that, and I want her to focus a little more on herself. She wasn't sure, as she felt bad that I would be working for both of us, but I assured her it is fine. I make enough to support us both quite comfortably. I also suggested maybe she could volunteer at some point, just to get her out and get some more stuff on her resume. I'm no therapist, so these were just suggestions, but it has seemed to have taken some of the pressure off her, which is all I wanted. We agree that being in the apartment all day alone and in bed is not good for her. So we came up with a plan that she do an exercise video 3 times a week. It's only a 10-minute one. Just so she is doing something. She has found she likes doing them. They make her feel a bit better after, and has started something called yin yoga now too. To help me, she has one chore a day to do. I don't care what it is. It could be dishes or it could just be putting the laundry in the hamper. This rule has at least gotten her out of bed for part of the day, and she's found that once she starts, she sometimes ends up doing more than one thing. I make sure to show my appreciation for whatever she has done, no matter how small it was. We have set out that every Sunday, we will have a deep cleaning day where we get everything done for the week. This has been surprisingly successful. We make it fun and just mess around while still getting things done. It makes the week a lot more manageable when we only have light chores to keep on top of. She is trying more, and I'm also working on being more supportive about her depression. I'm researching it more and learning ways I can help her because it is a part of her. We are both putting more effort in and communicating a lot better. I hope we keep making progress because I do love her very much and want us to work. And now time for the top comments. It's so nice when these things have a happy ending. Good job on working on your issues and communicating properly. This does seem like a great example of a couple coming together to talk about their issues. Not only that, but they gave each other space and waited for cooler heads to prevail so they could talk honestly and without tempers flaring. They get an A++++. They're going to make it, I can tell. Totally. On a related note, this is why I hate the cliche advice often given to couples to never go to bed angry. Nah, man. What good does it good to stay up and add exhaustion to the argument? Speaking as someone in a marriage with that rule, it's less about insisting on staying awake until things are resolved, and more about recognizing that anything can happen and not wanting to risk having major regret. Both my husband and I lost our mothers very young. I was 18 when my mom died, he was 23. And we have both suffered a tremendous amount of loss since, including family and very close friends. In the case of my husband's mother, she fell into coma very suddenly and spent a month unconscious in the ICU before dying. My own mother died of cancer, but lost her ability to speak very suddenly as a result of serious seizure. We both learned the consequences of leaving things unsaid, so neither of us wants to risk going to sleep or leaving the house pissed off on the off chance something should happen to either of us. That said, we both readily acknowledge not every argument is easily solvable, so there have been times when bad time has gone like this. I love you with everything I am. I know that we are going to work this out. I just need more time to cool off before I am able to rationally talk it out. Hugs and kisses, we can both rest easy. I'm sure not every couple with that rule is the same as we are, and we get that it's not feasible or understandable for everyone, but it's important to us. Great to hear. Depression-induced inability to get out of bed is a vicious circle, and having you there to help her both be accountable but also as her support is super important. It's good to see that you've been able to change your behavior, which in turn will help her as well. If she's enjoying doing online fitness and yin yoga, I highly recommend the YouTube channel Yoga with Adrienne. She does a lot of slow yin style lessons, in addition to specific ones for people with depression and anxiety that are great. I'm glad that you found this balance. I do think you are being hard on yourself as well. Are you familiar with the concept of caregiver fatigue? It sounds like you unknowingly assigned yourself as her caregiver, which is incredibly taxing, especially when it just sort of happened as opposed to knowingly taking on the job. Living with someone with mental health issues has its own set of challenges. You should seriously look into getting your own therapist to help you handle that responsibility and manage your own well-being. Thank you for the advice. My girl did suggest to me that I also find someone to talk to, and I think I may. And for the last story, am I the a-hole for not letting my husband's ex-wife to be my twins' second mommy? My 23 female, husband Matt, 25 male, married young to Sophia. They are both recovered drug addicts, but my husband decided that part of becoming clean. He was also gonna divorce her 4 years ago since at that time, she didn't want it to stop, and he just couldn't do it anymore. He left her and she never took this well, but it helped as a push, and she decided to get clean too after the divorce. We met a year after that, we dated for 2 and then got married last year. She is a part of his life and I'm okay with that. They got in contact again in 2018 when she tried to get back to him, but he told her he was already dating me. She then tried to be his friend and he asked me if I was okay with this since she is his ex-wife. And I said that I was not one to control this relationship, but she made it very clear that she hated me and that for her, I was this little princess whose daddy handed her everything and had a perfect life, which I'm not. So my husband limited the contact with her. She told him that she was pregnant a few months ago. We congratulated her and were truly happy for her, but she had a miscarriage 2 weeks after that and was so devastated. I offered her my support since I had one in October of last year while my husband and I were trying for a baby. I know how bad it is, and I didn't want her to feel alone, since the father wasn't in the picture. We kept talking and we improved our relationship. I won't say we became the best friends, but you could tell that there was a closeness between us. She's trying for a baby, but apparently, her boyfriend has low sperm count, and it's a little hard. She is so upset because they don't have the money for treatment or IVF, and is always talking about how she can't wait to be a mother again. Well, my husband and I found out in May that we are pregnant. Since we had to be in the house, we took advantage of the circumstances to keep it a secret until it was something more certain, as we already lost a baby. 2 weeks ago, we found out that they were twins, and we started to tell people around us that we are going to be parents. Everyone was so happy, and Sophia started to say all the things she was gonna do when they arrived, changed their diapers, putting them to sleep, teaching them how to walk, and about possible names. Things that, parents do. I told her that I appreciate the love she already has for them, but that they are our babies and those things corresponded to us, not to her. She looked at me bluntly, and then she started to cry and called me an a-hole for saying that. that she knew they are our babies, but my husband was already her ex-husband, and that she could help and even be added to the family as a second mommy, that they were two for something and one could be hers. I got pretty mad. I said, "What about your boyfriend?" She said that he doesn't matter now. I just asked her to leave, and now she and my husband's mom are saying that I'm a witch. Edit 1. Okay guys, I didn't expect this to blow as it did. I was just hoping for a few more perspective in this situation, but thank you so much. You've been so helpful, and rest assured my husband and I are reading all of your comments and taking them seriously. First thing, I see a lot of you saying that my husband might leave me for her, or that he enabled this behavior. He didn't. He felt guilty because he left her just like that. He said that they were going to divorce and she thought he was joking. But next thing she knows is that they are really divorcing, and she signs the papers out of pride. She thought that he was gonna come back to her, but he didn't obviously. My husband has always been honest with me about his relationship with her, and he told me about how he felt that he just got rid of her in his darker times, and didn't think about how she might feel or the worst case scenario. Before reconnecting, there were times that he really believes she could be dead, cause she just disappeared for a while. After she came back, he just wanted to be over with those feelings, and I said that it was okay. He doesn't love her anymore, and after she tried to go back, he made this clear. He told me as soon as he got home, and we limited the contact. After she lost her baby, I was the one who reached out to give her comfort. No one influenced me. It might have been inappropriate, but she really has no one. She has some friends, but those are ex-drug addicts too, or people who aren't that close to her to vent or ask for help. I really thought that we could help each other. My husband never played buddy-buddy with her. He was just closing that part of his life. After what happened, we decided to cut her, and she knows it. Edit 2. Please guys, understand that my husband wasn't Sophia's baby daddy. He doesn't want to be with her anymore. He doesn't love her. He has told me that himself, and more importantly, he has told her that too. And that's the main story. Now for the top comments and more info. Not the a-hole. That's weird. Also, the fact that your husband's mom is siding with her is a tad concerning. She always liked her more. She thought her son was more happy and more smiley and laughed more with her. And now he's more quiet and serious. But that's just who he is. He said he laughed a lot more because he used to be high all the time. Has it not occurred to her that he was happy and smiley because he was sky high on drugs? I highly doubt it had much to do with the ex-wife. Yeah, he told me that she was also sick of him and threatened to kick him out because a junkie would be screwing their family image. They would constantly fight, and his dad never did anything to make her stop, but they kept inviting him to the family reunions, and they mostly ended with him leaving to his ex and doing drugs. After he got a girlfriend, his mother started to be more easy on him, because now he didn't fight that much and was smiling, laughing, and joking. He seemed happy now, but they were just external. In private, they used to fight a lot. They both were aggressive, and he just couldn't do it anymore. She is convinced I sucked the happiness out of him, and at first, I used to believe it. But if not being Mr. Comedian is what it takes for him to be alive, then so be it. Not the a-hole. That is some severe boundary stomping, OMG. She seems to be a woman in distress, and my heart goes out to her. But your babies can't be her substitute children. It's not fair to them, to you, or ultimately even to her to believe she has an attachment to them and an ownership of them not rooted in reality. It would be inappropriate even if she wanted to have that kind of invested role and said she wanted to be Aunt, her name. But the fact that she specifically said she wanted to be their second mommy is very worrying. Plus, she said there's a reason you had to, as if she's entitled to have access to them. I would honestly be really cautious about my safety with her. No joke. You need to get family and friends to understand that there's a woman who has actively hated you and tried to get back with your husband and now wants to be mommy to the babies you're carrying. My guess is she's harmless and just bereft and lonely, but better safe than sorry. If she's already willing to take someone else's babies into her heart as her own, that is, yours, she should really look into adoption or even fostering. There are plenty of sweet babies out there looking for someone to love them and be their mommies. But your babies aren't among them. They already have a mommy. It's troubling that your mother-in-law doesn't understand that. I hope your husband backs you up, that you and your babies are safe and healthy, and that this hurting woman finds children to take care of in an appropriate circumstance. If I'm honest, I don't want her as their aunt or anything else. We share a bond, but I don't think she should be in their lives. I'm not worried about my safety since she can't get into our house without permission. I hope she can heal, I really do, but not with my babies. Thank you so much. My mother-in-law doesn't like me that much, so I don't really care. My hubs has my back, and that's all I need. I would be careful with leaving the kids with your mother-in-law. Preferably not at all, to be honest. Since your mother-in-law has already stated that she's on ex-wife's side, who's to say she won't arrange a play date with her to let her play happy family with your kids? Though I might be a bit paranoid after spending some time on the just no subs. Yeah, I'm starting to see that maybe it's best to not let her near them, or just do it if she's in our house with us. My mother-in-law might want them together, but my husband said that there's no way in hell, and I believe him. He hasn't given me any reasons to not to. That's the end of our video, folks. Share your thoughts down in the comment section. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe.